Smart Media Channel, the face behind Smart Media Channel. All right, the purpose of me being live this morning, I have somebody who will be joining me live for us to discuss something, a very important topic, and the topic talks cut across youth pressure, youth restiveness, and Hepzibah will be coming up with me to talk about some of these issues. What has been the problem limiting the progress of Nigerian youth? What has been the major problem? And how can some of these youth cope with such societal pressure? All right. And Hepzibah will be with me shortly. So it's just a 15 minutes talk. We won't be taking much of your time. And if you're joining us from Nigeria, from outside the shore of this country, you can do well to drop your comment in the comment section. Let's know your thoughts about the topic. Okay. So Hepzibah will be coming up very, very shortly to throw light on how some of these issues, especially as it relates to youth restiveness, can be tackled and overcome by our youths. All right, I'm trying to get Hepzibah online. Okay, she'll be joining me here. Rather. We're trying to have a connection with her elsewhere, but I think we are not getting it yet. So Hepzibah will be coming over here to talk about some of these issues. There are pressures everywhere, especially as some of our youths goes to the social media. You can just see flashy things, and then from there, some of the youths will be tempted to go into one or two things, especially social vices, to be able to live on the expectation, because nowadays there are societal expectation on every youth, and there are some of these youths not having the capacity to live up to that expectation. When I mean some of the expectation, live to that expectation, genuinely can decide to go into crime, social vices, just to try and live for what the society expect from them. Okay, but generally, like I'm saying, what are the reasons for social restiveness in youth? Well, how can such youth, what can some of these youth do to overcome social restiveness? Of course, there are pressure, societal pressure, family pressure, peer pressure, economical pressure, social pressure, just trying to live. All right, so Hepzibah just walking now, and she'll be coming here. We're trying to connect a live together, but since it's not working, she will be here to. Okay, you can come around. Come around. All right, so she'll be talking to us about youth restiveness. What are some of the factors that are responsible for youth restiveness? How can Nigerian youth, to be precise, what can they do to overcome youth restiveness? The factors, of course, we know we have economical factors, social factor, talking about family pressure, peer pressure, and other kind of pressure that comes from the society. All right, that is the face we've been expecting. Her name is Hepzibah Gambo. Hepzibah Gambo, you're welcome.
Good morning, Tena.
All right. So, please, you have to start watching. We knew that some of you will be watching, but will not see it. Will not actually show that you are live with us. But you can do well to just like your comment, and then drop your comment on what you think is responsible and how can youth actually overcome some pressures that are coming from the society or some other quarters. All right, Hepzibah, you can just start by throwing light on some of these issues. You know, we were talking with you before we went live this morning that there are youth pressure, there are social pressure, there are social restiveness in youth, the Nigerian youth. Is there hope for the Nigerian youth?
Before I talk about hope, I think I want to start with as an individual now. Let's personalize it.
All right.
You know, you finish school, it starts even before you even get into the university. Imagine you just wrote your WAEC and JAMB, and a lot of people have gotten admission before you, and then you're just the one that is sitting at home. Others have gotten admission. That is when the worry begins, because you see that half of your friends are already in school. Then you eventually get into school. Those friends that got into school before you have already graduated and are serving, and you are probably just in 200 or 300 level. And then those guys are serving. Yes. By the time you are serving, these guys have had 2 or 3 years of work experience. Some don't. Some you'd meet them in the same level of, okay, just after NYSC, and you are in the what next phase. Because every person that has gone through NYSC has gone through the what next phase. The phase where you are rounding up NYSC and everybody is asking you, what next, what next? And you see all these things, they just keep piling up and building up, causing a certain form of anxiety, I would say now. Because there's no way you say, you're not worried about your... See, no matter how nonchalant a youth can seem. Yes, I'll use the word nonchalant because you see them just relaxing, like, good day, vibes and inshallah. You know, that's the slang that most youth out there would use. And no matter how they use it, you just know that deep down, they know that this is not where they want to be. But a lot of things now, that is where we'll come to talk about the factors, and a lot of things are coming to play. Yeah, we're talking about the fact that, okay, it's because the situation in the country is not helping, that's why they've not gotten a job. Or they encountered a lot of strikes, so much that they did not graduate, and now they are looking for 25 and younger. Meanwhile, you graduated due to strike. I think these days we are not seeing cases of strike back to back. There are times where you stay for a whole year at home due to strike, but
I remember 2013? Yes, 2013. I stayed at home for over 6 months.
You see?
Yes, but before then there were a 3-month internal strike.
They just really small strike,
a whole academic calendar wasted. So I stayed a university that I would have rounded up in 4 years. I stayed over 5 years, 6 months.
So a lot of factors tend to play.
But you said something. You said something I want to just quickly bring you. Maybe you can just try to break it up. You talked about how that these anxieties and these factors of restiveness actually come in phases.
Yes.
And how that it comes in phases. And one of the first phases is the fact that even how secured your family is, maybe your family, maybe a middle class family, you are done with university, and before you know, you are done with secondary school. Oh my God, and you're writing jam, okay.
Let me give you a small story.
Okay.
So I applied for law.
All right.
And first list came out, I did not see my name. Second list came out, my cousin got admission. Third list came out, and I'm like, it don't be. I don't think I can live in this house with you people, because my mom was like, you see, if you had read better than, if you had passed better than this, maybe they would have considered you. But I know people that got lower marks that got into
jam score, that got admission.
Yes. And it's not my fault. It's probably because, or at the end, I still got admission that year, but it was like the last list, the very, very last list. In fact, I got admission like a week to matriculation. So imagine I did not get. I was already having anxiety because they are asking, what haven't you gone to school? What are you still doing at home? My cousin was already going to do market waka, to shop for school. And I'm like, hey, when would it be my turn? It starts with you are sad, then you are worried, then you start to panic because you are seeing that it's another extra year at home.
Is it actually internal or external? Can we classify it? This restiveness one.
It starts
internal.
It always starts internal, because for
you don't look at external factor cause the internal commotion.
That also happens. External factors can cause internal commotion, but it affects you when you internalize it. Yes. Because you just keep telling me, why your mates are doing this,
And then
I'm like, that's your business.
But when you leave,
but once you start living the reality, like, it's true.
You start internalizing that pressure, and before you know now, it becomes an anxiety, a distress. All right. Somebody just walking now is a newly a new bride. She's not up to a month. Is she up to? Okay, Joy. We are talking about youth restiveness. Her name is Joy Igoche, a hair care now. Of course. Yes. So we are talking about youth restiveness.
I'm sure she would want to say it.
No, she will. She will. She must have gone through some of this experience.
So let her first relax.
Yes, let her relax, and then we'll call her. Just before we round up, we're having just 5 minutes. Okay. So, but we are talking about how that external factors actually brings about the internal pressure, and then it becomes how that youth now become restiveness. But what was your own experience after university, maybe after youth service?
Before youth service, I had to stay for a longer period of time before going to serve. Mm-hmm. So there was also that the hope, when am I going to leave this phase exactly. You are thinking about that, and then finally, you know, the excitement of, I see couples doing it these days, where they would wear their shoe and then do a video like, when are we going to camp? And you would even know that even after camp, there's a lot of problems ahead. It's just a phase. You are excited to get to that phase. Okay, after then, that's why there's like I mentioned earlier, there's the what next phase after NYSC. There are people that after NYSC, that's when reality will now slap them in the face. Slap them in the face in the sense that, okay, during your NYSC years, you were not able to save as much, or you were not planning, okay, what you're going to do, where you're going, where you've not started sending applications, and then it's the week to that, it starts hitting you like, okay, so like this, I'm going back to my father's house, because where are you gonna stay? If you were staying in a couple's lodge, they are not even going to give you the extra time that you need to settle down and know what they expect. That in that 1 year of service, you are also planning ahead. So,
but coming back home after service, then I stayed only a week with my parents, and then from there I just took on the challenge that no matter how I'm going to Kefi, because I left Nasarawa to Kefi, and from there I begin to find but it was not easy. But don't you think sometime, okay, you are done with service, you came home, and don't you think you are just internalizing the pressure on you? Maybe your parents have not even spoken. Your parents have not even spoken about, okay, now that you're done with service, what are you going to do? Are you going to start? Sometimes some of the parents, let me, for myself, my parent never asked me, but deep down within me, I was like, am I going to eat this at home? Won't I look irresponsible if I'm going to eat these people's food now? Imagine at the age of 25, 26, I'm still.
There are people that do not think that way. That's why I said there are stages to this, and then there are people that reality will hit them when they least expect. You were self-aware already. Mm-hmm. You knew that, whatever it is, I don't want to be at this point in my life. I don't want to be at this point in my life by this time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But there are people that are like, I'm back home, let me eat people's food, let me enjoy, let me relax. And then next thing you know, it's 3 years that have gone by, and they're still there.
Out of social media pressure.
I think that one will be a story for another day.
It's a very large topic entirely.
That doesn't just affect the youth, it even affects as teenagers.
Yes.
You see them 14, being very, very immersed in social media that they begin to wish. We've had cases of a teenage girl stealing her parents 150,000 naira to buy a phone for her boyfriend.
Just to keep up with the demand of the society.
That's why.
All right, so it's just few seconds to the 15 minutes target we set, and I told you that we won't be going beyond 15 minutes. We won't be going beyond 15 minutes, okay? All right, but one final word from you, Hepzibah.
I think finally I'll just say that whatever it is, try as much as possible not to internalize the pressures that you're getting from the external factors that are already out there. You cannot change that, but you can change what is within.
Are there several opportunities for some of these youth to tap in and not get stranded point in time? Talking about some of the opportunities that I'm not talking about, let's not drag government into this. So let me.
That's why I just generalize the external factors.
Okay, let me not.
But maybe Joy will have something to add.
She's
She has
settled down. You know, the smile when she came in, that face that she put up.
Yes, that can you just see somebody and drag her?
No, I can drag her. So Joy, coping with peer pressure, youth restiveness. Can you just some seconds or a minute? Let me just say. We are going to extend it by a minute because of her. Just a minute.
Okay.
All right, she will sit.
Good morning, everybody. I overheard them saying, a lot of things, but I just want to talk about our parents in Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria is a country that, we every year, we complain about economic hardship because we are really seeing the economic hardship.
Yeah.
It is biting hard, it is there. So I think it's time for parents to deviate from that conventional, and when you send your child to school during holiday, you're doing home lesson every time, home lesson. I think it's time that we should substitute that home lesson to our current reality. So after every term or every semester, send your child to learn a craft.
A trade.
That has helped a lot of people.
Okay.
Send them to learn. Yes. Send them to learn something. It could be a particular craft that the child has interest in.
Okay.
Yeah.
You understand? So send that child to continue learning that thing, because Nigeria is not smiling. It's one thing that can help to curb restiveness, because the government, who has it helped? Let's be real. So we have to start thinking for ourselves. We have to start thinking on how we can survive.
Okay.
It is a very sad thing when, you go for youth service, you're excited, and reality dawns on you, 2 weeks before you do your personal parade.
Yeah.
And even that day of personal parade, you can even, still be basking in the euphoria. And when you go back and you're sitting down and it's a week, and
okay, so that's the end of this monthly allowance.
You understand? So
how am I going to survive the next
you get
month?
So how are you going to survive, especially when they are not being, let's say your PPA didn't retain you. So what would you be doing? There are some persons, aside even going for service, after school, maybe your school didn't mobilize you to go for service on time, and you are just at home. There's restiveness, but when you have a skill, it can give you something to, you are doing something. It takes your mind off it. You are doing something for yourself. I know of people who went to school and they're doing so well with their trade today. They are not, they're not even depending on their first degree or whatever they studied. They are just doing because of what their craft, has done for them.
So talking about what actually you can do well outside what you have studied, can you just throw more light on that?
Yes.
If you study mass comm, must you work in a media house?
No, you mustn't work in a media house. Okay, I have a group of friends. Then I think we were three girls, and we were all so into this mass communication thing back then in school. But I kid you not, today I'm just the only one practicing.
Okay.
When I mean practicing, like conventionally. And both of them, it's not like they are not doing well. They are doing so well, but they carved a niche for themselves. I have a friend who does vlog today. She does vlog, and she's being paid by YouTube. She's being paid, and she also does promotions for companies.
Yeah.
And the other one is into content management. She does content, video content, visual content, and those things are part of mass communication.
Exactly.
Just carving a niche.
It's just carving a niche for yourself. So mass communication is broad, and there are other courses there that you can do something. Even in the medical field, you see people going into, they are nurses, they are doctors today, but there's
nursing.
You understand? There's a niche that they've carved right now. What is trending is called health communication.
Okay.
So they are not just doctors, they are not just passive doctors or passive nurses. You see them online giving tips, medical tips, giving advice. Some relay their messages in a comic way. Some are good copywriters to relay their messages. And you see all of this happening today. So it doesn't matter, it's not about the profession. Even lawyers, They are doing, they are communicating their law. Entertainment law, they are communicating the laws. Everybody is trying to do something different, trying to do something, out of the norm. So it's time for us to wake up. And these are my concluding words because I have to go right now. So bye.
All right, so we should thank Joy. That is Mrs. Joy. All right. This is the only single person here. Okay, I'm engaged. So, all right, so.
Hey, that's a shocking news.
All right, so that is Joy. Joy have given us some of. We have to extend it with extra 5 minutes because of Joy, and it was actually educative. I believe. All right. So please like, subscribe to this channel. See, some of you are just joining, and we are done. We can't go beyond the 15 minutes designated time. We even went beyond 15 minutes because of Joy. Because Joy, the educative part of the information she just give now is something that you don't want to miss. Okay, like, subscribe, and drop your comment in the comment section.
Also, make sure to share.
Yes, share, and then drop your comment in the comment section. Let's know what you think about how youth can cope with restiveness in Nigeria. All right, we'll take our bow now. Later, bye. Good. Good.